Welcome everyone to the AI Research Roundup. I'm your host Alex, and today we're diving into some fascinating AI research. We'll be looking at a paper called Genius, a Generalizable and Purely Unsupervised Self-Training Framework for Advanced Reasoning. The main idea here is to improve how large language models reason, but without needing costly human supervision or labeled data. The Genius framework lets the model train itself, using a clever strategy to figure out the best reasoning steps on its own and handle the noise that comes with unsupervised learning. Okay, so Figure 2 here gives us a nice visual overview of the whole Genius framework. It shows how the process works, starting with just unsupervised general data, like basic queries. The core idea is this iterative loop. The model explores different reasoning steps, uses what they call foresight to peek ahead and evaluate potential paths. Then, it samples and resamples paths to balance, exploring new options and exploiting good ones. Finally, it calculates advantages, collects the best sequences as training data, and uses this special advantage calibrated optimization to train itself. It's a 6-step cycle, all designed for self-improvement without needing direct human feedback. Right, so this Table 1 shows the main results of putting that Genius framework into practice. It compares the reasoning performance of the Llama 3.18b Instruct model after different kinds of self-training, using data from either MagPi or OpenHermes. You can see the scores across various reasoning benchmarks like GSM 8K and Math. The key takeaway: look at the average scores at the end. The base model scores around 49.65%. Genius, trained purely unsupervised, boosts this significantly to over 57% on MagPi data and nearly 57% on OpenHermes. That's a really solid improvement over both the base model and other self-training methods shown here, achieved just with those unsupervised queries we talked about. Okay, so we saw in Table 1 that Genius significantly boosts reasoning performance using just those unsupervised queries. But does it hurt the model's ability on more general tasks? That's what Table 2 here looks at. It compares the base Llama model with the Genius-trained models on general benchmarks, both subjective ones like AlpacaEvil and ArenaHard, and objective ones like MMLU. Well, the good news is Genius seems to maintain performance quite well. It shows slight improvements in most cases. And notably on ArenaHard, both Genius versions jump to a score of 50, up from about 30 for the base model. So, it gets better at reasoning without really losing its general capabilities. So we saw Genius works well on Llama, improving reasoning without hurting general skills. But does it work on other models too? Figure 4 here explores exactly that, looking at how Genius performs when applied to the QN 2.5 model series, specifically the 3 billion and 7 billion parameter versions. Similar to the Llama results, these bar charts show the average performance across those 7 reasoning tasks. The key thing here are the numbers above the bars. They represent the performance gain compared to the base QN model. And, well, Genius again delivers the biggest improvement, boosting the 3B model by over 3.5 percentage points and the 7B model by over 2 percentage points. This shows the Genius framework isn't just limited to Llama. It generalizes pretty well. Okay, so we've seen Genius works on different models, but how does the learning actually progress? Figure 6 digs into that, showing the performance scaling over training steps for Llama. You can see Genius. That solid blue line shoots up pretty quickly right from the start on both datasets, MagPi and OpenHermes. And importantly, it continues to improve steadily, hitting the highest performance overall. It seems to learn faster and keep scaling better than the other self-training methods shown, which kind of plateau earlier. So, seeing that learning curve, Genius really does seem to learn efficiently and effectively right from the start. Overall, the big takeaway here is that Genius offers a purely unsupervised way to significantly boost complex reasoning in large language models, without needing any labeled data. And importantly, it does this without hurting general performance and works across different models. This is pretty exciting because it makes enhancing AI reasoning much more accessible. Well, that's all for this episode. Thanks for tuning in to the AI Research Roundup. I'm your host, Alex.